So we're gonna walk around the lot and take a look at these prices because I have not done a Hyundai dealership yet. So we're gonna check out these SUVs, then we're gonna work our way to some of the other vehicles they offer. All right, so let's start with this Palisade. Now these are quite pricey. Okay, kind of like the Kia I looked at the other day. I looked at the Kia Telluride, and those are quite pricey for what they are. Um, I saw a few that went above $60,000. I think I saw one that was $61,000 and some change. Now, this does share a platform with the Telluride. They're very similar. Okay, just pretty much just one's a Hyundai and one's a Kia. So enough yapping. Let's go ahead and take a look at this price. So we have here a 2025 Palisade, and this is actually one of the top trims. Okay, total vehicle price $53,000. So you guys let me know. Do you think this is worth $53,000? It's gonna be more than that once it's all said and done, but can you justify spending that amount on a Hyundai? Now I understand spending that amount on a Genesis because that is a luxury brand, but can you spend that amount of money and get this badge? Because this badge, let me tell you, back in the day, this badge was synonymous with affordability, practicality. I'm not going to say reliability because back in the day, these did not have the reputation of being reliable, but it was just a cheap brand. Anyone could afford one. I mean, if you were struggling financially, you could get in one of these for a couple $100 per month. But nowadays, things are quite different. They have come a long way to be fair, but nowadays, you're paying a hefty amount to get in one of these. I understand they have a lot of premium features. I mean, this is damn near a luxury car. Once it's loaded up and fully optioned out, you're getting a lot of luxury features in these, but it's just the price. But a lot of people still buy them, okay? A lot of people love these things, and this is actually one of their better selling models. So here's a 2025 SCL Premium all-wheel drive. And the total price for this, if you guys can see that, 49 grand. There's going to be way more than that. And, of course, all the dealer BS add-ons. It does look nice, I must admit. It does look nice. You guys see it in person. I mean, you see these on the road all the time, but you really got to be up close to it. They do look nice, but can you justify, again, spending 50 grand for a Hyundai? And in case you guys were wondering, you do get a V6 engine. So you do get a 3.8 liter V6 and an 8-speed automatic transmission. It has paddle shifters. I don't know who will be using that in an SUV, but I mean, at least you get a real transmission, not one of those CVTs. So that's a plus. They did a good job with the back too. The back has a nice design, nice tail light treatment. A lot of auto manufacturers starting to spell their names across the back, kind of like Lexus. Lexus is starting to do that too. But overall, it got a nice shape. Not an SUV guy, but it looks nice. It has nice wheels. So yes, it definitely comes in an attractive package. Now this right here is a 2025 Calligraphy Night Edition all-wheel drive, and the total price 57,000 and some change, or a lot of change. But that's gonna be, you already know, once everything else is factored in, there's gonna be over 60 grand. Okay, so over 60 grand for this. I mean, it is what it is. They have a luxury division now, Genesis, of course, but you're pretty much getting the same thing in this as you would a Genesis. And I kind of explained that when I did the Acura video. Okay, I compared Hondas and Acuras. Now, I was saying that pretty much nowadays, the same things you can get in the non-luxury cars, you can get in the luxury cars. So, for example, Hyundai is a non-luxury brand. Let's just be real. It's a non-luxury brand. Yeah, you get a lot of luxury features and all that. You get a lot of premium accessories, premium options. But at the end of the day, it's a non-luxury brand. But if you sit in a Genesis SUV, the same things you'll get in this Palisade right here will be in the Genesis. And really, it only comes down to style. That's really about it nowadays. You get the same thing in here as you would the Genesis. But of course, with the Genesis, you're gonna pay a lot more. Heated seats. So I remember back in the day, heated seats, that was only something you get in a luxury car. Nowadays, that's expected. Okay, you buy a Hyundai, heated seats is expected. Heated steering wheel, okay, sunroof. Back in the day, yeah, that used to be like a luxury car option. But nowadays, that's damn near standard equipment on cars like this. Of course, they got the huge touchscreen and all that. Again, the touchscreen now is something you could only get on a luxury car, but nowadays you can get that on a freaking compact car. Okay, like a Kia K4, touchscreens. Okay, everywhere you look, touchscreens. All right, this one is also pretty much $60,000, and this is also a night edition all-wheel drive. So yeah, pretty pricey. They are stylish. I like the way they look. A lot of people drive them, but you're gonna pay a pretty penny for them. All right, so let's check out the Santa Fe's. Now the Santa Fe was recently redesigned, and this is actually a long-running SUV. I think these went into production in 2000 for the 2001 model year, and they've been in production ever since. Yes, they just got a redesign, but this is one of their longer-running SUVs. Whereas the Palisade is pretty new to the game. Hyundai's had the Santa Fe forever, pretty much. You might as well say. Let's check out the price though, and this kind of reminds me of the Ford Flex. I know I said that about the Kia Soul, but just looking at the profile, looking at the front end, looking at the side profile, I think if Ford did a modern Ford Flex, it would look something like this. And it's a drastic departure from what it used to look like. Okay, I'm talking about the Santa Fe. Looking at the previous generation and looking at one of these, it's a drastic departure. Definitely not an evolution, it's a revolution in terms of style. But enough yapping, let's check out the price. So this is a 2025 Santa Fe Hybrid Calligraphy all-wheel drive. And total price, man, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to be over 50 grand. Does this look like a $50,000 vehicle to you? I was expecting like 45, maybe 44, but let's see how much this one is. This one's 50. What's this? There's a 2.5 T front wheel drive. Man, and that's $50,000. So what do you guys think? Could you justify spending $50,000 on a Santa Fe? Or would you just pony up the extra cash and get the Palisade? I think I would just get the Palisade. If I'm gonna spend 52 or $50,000 for this, I'll just get the flagship SUV. Might as well, right? It's the first time I looked at these up close. I did not expect these to be that much. So as I was telling you guys earlier, these came out in 2001 and they went into production in 2000. And let me tell you, when these joints first came out, okay, when they first came out, they were cheap. When I say cheap, you could pick one of these up for like $22,000 when they first came out. How do I know? Because I actually went to go look at one when they first came out, and they are priced at like around $22,000. Now I know, yeah, you got to factor in inflation and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, back in the day, they were cheap and affordable. Nowadays, yeah, you're gonna pay a lot of money for one, but they do look good. I give them that; they do look good. But I wasn't expecting to be as much as they are. All right, this one's $44,000. So like I said about the Palisade, you get one of these, you spec it out, you get it nicely loaded. I mean, it's damn near the same thing you'll get in the Genesis SUV. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. What's another luxury feature? The cruise control. They got the fancy cruise control and all that stuff. Same thing you get in the Genesis, you get in this, but you'll pay a few $1,000s less. So yeah, I mean, luxury brands, I'm not gonna say they're obsolete, but they're not like they were back in the day. Because you come to the non-luxury car brand like Hyundai, and you get the same features. So it just comes down to badge snobbery. If you got to have that Genesis badge, if you don't want to be seen in this, you just get that Genesis badge, and that's really all it comes down to. Honda was saying when they first brought the Acura Legend over here to the United States, they couldn't sell it as a Honda. They had to sell it as an Acura because people didn't want to have a luxury car with a Honda badge in it. So that's kind of the reason why they had the badge as an Acura. Badge snobbery. That's pretty much what badge snobbery is. All right, so this one's 40 grand. This is an SCL front wheel drive. All right, I like this color though. And this is actually this is one of the lower end models. It don't got the sunroof. This is more of a stripped down model. Let's see if it's unlocked. Nope, it's locked. I can't show you guys the inside. But yeah, this is one of the stripped down models and it's still 40 grand. So I'm guessing the way Hyundai's thinking, if you want a cheap SUV, you gotta get a Tucson. But we'll check the prices of the Tucson and see if that's true. But as of right now, the Palisade and the Santa Fe's are both pricey. Now let's check out this Venue. This is a tiny SUV. I sat in one of these and yeah, they're pretty cramped, but this is one of the cheaper options. So $25,000. And this is a 2025 Venue Limited. So $25,000. Not a bad looking SUV. Me personally, I would want something a little bigger. I mean, I'm not going to say they're super cramped, but I would just like something a little more spacious. All right, this one's also $25,000 and it's also a limited. I'm surprised that this is unlocked, but here's how it look on the inside. Okay, again, not a bad looking SUV. Um, I would just want something more spacious. But for $25,000, yeah, that seems about right. And in case you guys were wondering, for those of you that don't know, you get a 1.6 liter four-cylinder engine. So, I mean, at least it's a four banger and not a freaking three-cylinder. At least it's a four-cylinder because I'm very skeptical about those three-cylinder engines. You know, a little freaking lawnmower engine. How long do you really think that's going to last? A three-cylinder engine. So this one's 24 grand and this is an SCL. All right, and this also has the 1.6 liter four-cylinder engine. I like this color. This color really stands out. You guys see it in person. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but this is a very nice color in person. And a lot of car makers are doing this nowadays. Some of you guys say you don't like it. Some guys are cool with it. But most people say they don't like it because it's becoming a little too tiring because everyone's doing it. But you got the divorced headlights, okay, the split headlights. So you got the turn signals or daytime running lights that kind of look like headlights. They're positioned as headlights, but they're not really headlights. The headlights are down below. And pretty much almost every car maker is doing that nowadays. When they first started doing this, it was only on SUVs, but now sedans are starting to do it too. It reminded me of back in the 90s when the cars had the flip up headlights, but they had like the turn signals disguised as headlights, kind of like the Mercury Capri convertible or even the Miata, you know. It kind of had like the turn signals disguised as headlights, but it really had flip up headlights. Well, these are kind of like that. You know, it got the turn signals disguised as headlights, but they're not headlights. Those are the headlights. But let's check out the price. Well, let's see what this is. This is a limited, okay? So this one's 26 grand. 26 grand. I think 26 grand is pushing it. 26 grand is pushing it for a Venue. Even if it is a limited, 26 grand is pushing it. All right, this one's also a limited and this one is also 26 grand. I think the sweet spot, I mean, considering the size of this thing, I think the sweet spot is $23,000 to $24,000. Me personally, I wouldn't pay a penny over $23,000 for a Venue. That's just me. Let me know what you guys think. I think 26,000 is pushing it. All right, here's a Kona, and this is pretty unique too. They got that new design language when they got the light bar going straight across. And of course, it got the divorced headlights. These are really the headlights, but you guys already know that. So let's check out the price. I don't see a sticker. Let's check out this one. What is this? This is an SCL Convenience, and this one is 31 grand. Not bad, not bad. I mean, 29 would be better. 28 or 29. Not bad looking up front. I like this color. This color really stands out. I'm glad that automakers are experimenting with these new colors rather than just the same boring colors over and over. You know, they're starting to be more adventurous with their color schemes and all that stuff. All right, so this is another SCL Convenience, and they're asking $30,000 for this. If you guys can see that, $30,000. All right, so let me know, can you justify $30,000 for one of these? The Tucson, I want to say this is pretty much what the Santa Fe used to be. Okay, the Santa Fe pretty much used to be the Tucson. They pushed the Santa Fe further up market, and pretty much the Tucson took its spot. I mean, some people can argue and say the Kona took its spot, but no, I think the Tucson took the spot of the Santa Fe. And, the Santa Fe became more pricier, more larger, and just more luxurious. But let's take a look at the price and see if they're asking for one of these. So we have here an SCL Convenience, and this one's $36,000. It got a refresh, nice looking refresh, not bad looking at all. Those are the headlights. Those are the daytime running lights, as you guys already know. But let's see how much they're asking for it. All right, so we have a limited front wheel drive, and this one's $41,000. So yeah, pretty penny for a Tucson. Now, as far as the Tucson, it's not a small SUV, but it's not a big SUV either. And for a size comparison, here's a Santa Fe. I know you can't see it on camera, but the Santa Fe pretty much dwarfs this Tucson. But they're asking $41,000 for this Tucson. I mean, me personally, I'll just get the Santa Fe, I'll just get the Santa Fe. But to each his own. I wasn't expecting it to be $41,000. The whole Hyundai brand in general is moving up market because these are a lot pricier than what I expected them to be. I saw a Santa Fe with freaking like $1,500 with extra add-ons, bunch of BS add-ons that you really don't need. Now let's check this out. Okay, this is based on the Tucson. It's not bad looking when you see it in person. And yeah, they're pretty large too. When you see it in person, you're looking at it head on. They got a nice design. But let's check out the price. Let's see how much they're asking for it. Would I want one? Definitely not. But all right, 37,000. Okay, I thought it was gonna be a little more than that. I mean, it might be a little more if we check out a higher spec. This is a SCL front wheel drive. This one's 32. Let's see if it got a bed liner. Honestly, I think all these come with bed liners. Kind of like the Honda Ridgeline I showed you guys. I think all these come with bed liners. So that's a good thing. At least you're getting that. You go to a freaking Chevy dealership or a Ford dealership, they got the balls to charge you 50 grand for an F-150 with no freaking bed liner. So at least here you get a bed liner. I'm guessing this competes with something like the Ford Maverick. And I think GM is about to bring out a small pickup that will compete with the Maverick and something like this as well. Because you already know this doesn't compete with the Colorado or the Canyon. There's just no way. I mean, this isn't even a real truck if you want to be quite frank. All right, guys. So the next vehicle I'm about to show you is the longest running vehicle in Hyundai's lineup. Do you guys have any guesses? It's the longest running vehicle in Hyundai's lineup. They have been making this particular vehicle longer than any other vehicle they have in production. What is it? The Sonata. All right, the Sonata. This is their longest running vehicle. Now, a little history on the Sonata. It first came out in 1985. All right, 1985 is when the Sonata nameplate first came out. And when it first came out, it was rear-wheel drive, and it was a facelifted version of the Hyundai Stellar. But the thing about that first generation, it was only sold in South Korea. And it was discontinued due to poor sales. So then they brought it back out for 1988. And that was the second generation. So when it came back out in 1988, it actually went on sale in other markets other than South Korea. So of course, the 1988 model was no longer rear-wheel drive, it was front-wheel drive. But it came out in 1988. All right, it went on sale here in North America and other places, and it's pretty much been in their lineup ever since. And at one point, they were considering canceling it, but I guess that changed because they sell so well. Okay, a lot of people buy Sonatas. So that's a little history on the Hyundai Sonata. This is their longest running nameplate. They've been in production for quite some time. And I like it when auto manufacturers stick to their long running nameplates rather than just giving up on them. Okay, but this is a nice looking car. And this is actually not a redesign. This is actually a facelift. Okay, because you remember when this generation first came out, It had that catfish front end that everybody hated. Well, I'm not going to say everybody hated, but it was very controversial. So this is a facelifted version, and it's actually a very smooth facelift. Usually when they facelift a car, it looks forced, it looks grafted on, but this is one of the more successful facelifts. Okay, it looks smooth. Actually, the facelift is so good, it looks like a whole new generation. It doesn't look forced, it doesn't look grafted on. They did great with this facelift. And another little known fact, that 1988 Sonata, do you know who it was designed by? It was designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro. Okay, so that's the same guy that gave us the M1, the same guy that gave us the SVX, the same guy that designed the Suzuki Verona, if you can believe that, and the same guy that designed the Toyota Aristo. Okay, I'm not going to name every single car he designed, but those are just a few. He designed that second generation 1988 Hyundai Sonata. Okay, Giorgetto Giugiaro at Ital Design. So yeah, just a few facts about the Sonata. Let's check out this price. Got an SCL hybrid, and this one's 33. Not bad, not bad at all. That's about the same price as the Accord I looked at and the Kia K5. So we have another SCL hybrid. This one's 34. And the back is nice too. Check that out. Very nice rear end design. Very nice. The front end treatment, very nice too. Okay, so this one's $40,000, and this is a limited hybrid. So as of right now, the Sonata is not going anywhere. It might actually be getting a redesign. Believe it or not, this is actually one of their better selling models, the Sonata. As I told you guys, this is their longest running model. Their next longest running model is the Elantra. So this actually went on sale in 1990 in the United States. So this car has been on sale since 1990. And this thing is, I thought the Sonata was a radical design. This is a radical design if you see it in person. It really stands out. Don't know how well it's going to age, because when they're very aggressive with a design like that, they don't age well. But as of right now, yeah, it really stands out and it looks nice. But this is their second longest running model. These came out in 1990. We have here a 2025 SCL Convenience, $28,000. Not bad, actually. That's not bad. That's a little more reasonable. And there's the back. I mean, you see these cars on the road, but you really got to see them up close. They look good when you see them up close and in person. So we have here a hybrid limited, and they're asking $32,000. Get a sunroof, you get leather. From what I see, you get a nicely equipped interior. So this is a 2025 hybrid SCL Sport, and they're asking $29,000 for it. So you guys let me know, do you think that's a fair deal? $29,000. So yeah, this pretty much competes with things like the Sentra, the Civic, and these small cars, they're not going anywhere no time soon. Cars like this will remain in production because people are looking for affordable cars like this. They say the market's shifting towards SUVs. That might be true, but people want smaller cars, okay, in the $24,000 price range. And that's what a car like this delivers. Just cheap, affordable transportation. If you don't want that Kona, if you don't want that Venue, you'll get the Elantra. And it's a decent size. They've grown quite a bit from what they used to be. I'll get the Sonata, because it's bigger. But I mean, this has ample space for someone, a young person that has a commute, has a 9 to 5 job. This has ample space. And like I said, everyone's not going to want a crossover. Some people just like the look of a sedan. More power to you. So they'll just get the sedan rather than getting that Kona or that Venue. And word on the street is this car is going to be getting a thorough redesign. So this is the facelifted model, but they say it's going to be getting a redesign and it's going to continue. It's going to remain in production. So don't expect this to go anywhere and don't expect that to go anywhere. These cars are staying, which is great. I'm glad that, the foreign automakers are sticking with sedans. But the way things are looking, the American automakers are trying to bring back sedans too. Okay, because I just did a video talking about Chrysler. They want to bring the 300 back. All right, they want to bring the 300 back. And Nissan wants to bring the Maxima back. They had two EVs that were canceled, but they canceled those two EVs because they're pretty much saying that, in a nutshell, they said no one really wants EVs. People want hybrids or gas vehicles. So the two EVs they were coming out, I think one was supposed to have been a Maxima, but they canceled those two EVs. So when the Maxima come back out, it's going to be a hybrid. That's what they're saying now. So although the Maxima is gone now, it's going to come back. Okay, so they are sticking to sedans, and sedans are making a slow comeback. They really are, which is great if you're a sedan lover like me. All right, so that's it for this video. I'll be doing more of these car dealership walkarounds before the month is out. So make sure you guys stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next one.